Robert Herold sat with several other soldiers in a dilapidated barn, the wooden planks barely holding against the wear of time. They had all spent the night there, huddled for warmth and feigned comfort, as the dim morning light of the German countryside started to filter through the cracks in the barn walls. To his left, one of the men was passed out, a near-empty bottle of vodka slipping from his limp hand. Across from him, two other men were quietly rocking back and forth, sobbing at opposite ends of the barn. Robert, who had chosen a spot nearest to the barn door, had spent the night writing. Several crumpled pieces of paper lay near him, along with shavings from his worn-down pencil. He knew it wouldn't be long now. This was his last attempt to set the record straight. Taking what remained of his pencil, he began to write, "My dearest Olivia, I have attempted to write this letter a few times now. The first letter was filled with anger. The second was ripe with fear. And the last, let's just say it went to a pretty dark place. But my final thoughts won't be of despair. They will be of hope. A hope that my defiance meant something. Not in a way that will change what's happening here, but perhaps in a way that might save my soul. I don't really understand why my life has to end this way. All I did was set a boy free. You should have seen him. A sickly, scrawny-looking boy, just a few years younger than John. I was tasked with guarding him during the intervention in Munich. An intervention that I now understand was meant to wipe the slate clean of all who might cause trouble. This boy that was wrapped up in it all, I let him go. And for that, my life must be given in return. I love you more than you'll ever know. And please, if you find this message, tell our son that his father died as a man and refused to live as a brute." Just as he was writing the last line, the sound of footsteps and barking dogs broke the silence. Robert hastily shoved all the other papers into a side pocket, folding the final letter and tucking it securely into his breast pocket. The sound of chains rattling filled the air, followed by the clicking of a lock. The barn door swung open, and a flood of morning light washed over them. Standing at the doorway was a squad of men, wearing uniforms identical to Robert's, but marked by makeshift blue armbands tied around their right arms. One of the men removed his helmet, revealing a freshly shaved head. Straining to hold back one of the snarling dogs, he declared, "Let's go, Herold. You're first." Robert got to his feet and stepped outside. He was immediately flanked by his uniformed escort, and they walked him a short distance to the edge of a forest, where a freshly dug trench awaited. The bald man handed off the dog to one of his comrades, then guided Robert to the edge of the trench and positioned him. He paused for a moment, ripping off his own blue armband. Holding it out, he asked, "Do you want a blindfold, Herold?" Robert took the piece of cloth, studying its ragged texture for a moment. Then, with a determined flick of his wrist, he let it fall behind him into the abyss below. "You know, William," he began, locking his gaze into the other man's eyes, "I'm pretty sure I want to witness all of this." A pause hung in the air, charged with tension. "I mean, after all, we can't all just turn a blind eye now, can we?" In that moment, Robert saw the one emotion he had longed to witness, the emotion that, he knew, would never haunt him. Shame.